Today's Fun Friday artifact is this Dockins Seed Grader. This model was developed in the 1950s, which was not particularly new because, as you see, we have an 1897 model just next to us here in the museum. But what makes this model unique to our area is that it was patented in 1951 by James Dockins, who was the director at the rice experiment station. At that time, they were having a lot of problems with red rice. This is my friend Jeffrey Mansour with Simplot. Jeffrey, can you give us a reason why red rice is so bad?
Absolutely, Farrah. So red rice, or commonly known as weedy rice, is particularly problematic for our rice growers all across the country. The biggest problem with weedy rice, or red rice, is that it produces far fewer grains, and the quality of that rice is not necessarily good. So what happens is we see a lot of outcrossing because red rice is fairly closely related to our common rice that we consume daily. So we get a lot of outcrossing with that, and it makes it very difficult for our growers to control that red rice. So what this machine does right here, particularly in the 1950s, is that it goes out and it sorts those particular weed species or that rough rice or red rice. It separates those out so that when we get done with it, what we have left over is the rough rice, and that's what the consumer is looking for. So some of this can also be used for common consumer qualities, or we can also be used for separating this out for next year's production of rice seeds, or shipping this across multiple states so that we introduce new species of weeds as well.
How different is today's current technology from 70 years ago when Mr. Dockins first patented this machine?
So that's a good question. So there's obviously been a lot of technological advancements, but the concept is still relatively the same. You know, we still have a lot farther advancements that are more precise as well as accurate in how they separate the rough rice from other weed species and those types of grains. But the concept still maintains the same. You put the rough rice in here, it separates out all the weed seed from the common rough rice, and then it goes through the milling process where we can get that nice consumer quality rice that we're looking for.
Mr. Dockins was a pioneer in the 1950s with technology that we're still using today on the Arkansas Grand Prairie. So at one point, this machine was actually manufactured in Stuttgart, but the Stuttgart machine works before later models were manufactured in Siloam Springs.